Black Sheep, Episode 5. Own Your Grind, Why Nobody Cares, and That's Your Power. Welcome back to Black Sheep, where we celebrate the power of standing apart and owning your authentic path. I'm your host, and today we're diving into a truth that might sound harsh at first, but it's also incredibly freeing. Nobody cares, and that's your superpower. Now, before you click away thinking this is going to be some cynical rant, stick with me because what I'm about to share with you is one of the most liberating realizations I've ever had, and it's transformed not just how I approach my work, but how I approach my entire life. Let me paint you a picture. Picture this. You're scrolling through social media and you see someone celebrating their latest achievement. Maybe it's a promotion, a new business launch, or a personal milestone. You double tap, maybe leave a congratulatory comment, and then you keep scrolling. Within seconds, you've moved on to the next post, the next story, the next distraction. That's not because you're a bad person. That's just human nature. We're all living our own lives, fighting our own battles, chasing our own dreams. And here's the thing, that same indifference that you show to others, that's exactly what the world shows to you. And once you truly understand this, everything changes. The validation trap. Growing up as the black sheep, many of us learned to look outside for validation. We waited for approval, for someone to notice our struggles, for the world to give us permission to shine. I remember spending countless hours as a younger person, waiting for someone, anyone, to recognize my potential, to see what I was capable of, to give me that green light to pursue my dreams. But here's what I learned the hard way: the world isn't watching, the world isn't waiting for you to succeed, and the world certainly isn't making space for your excuses. Let me tell you about Sarah, a woman I know who spent 3 years talking about starting her own consulting business. 3 years. She had the skills, the experience, the connections, but she was waiting for her boss to notice her potential, waiting for her family to support her decision, waiting for the perfect moment when all the stars would align and everyone would cheer her on. You know what happened? Nothing. Because while Sarah was waiting for the world to care about her dreams, the world was busy living its own life. Now, that might sound cold, but it's actually one of the most powerful truths you can embrace. When you realize that nobody cares, you stop waiting. You stop blaming others for your setbacks. You stop seeking permission to be great. You start owning your life. And Sarah? She finally figured this out 6 months ago. She stopped waiting for applause and started building. Her business is now generating 6 figures, and she's booked solid for the next 4 months. The difference? She realized that the only person who needed to care about her success was her. The black sheep advantage. When you're the black sheep, you already know what it's like to stand apart. You know what it's like to feel unseen, misunderstood, or even ignored. But here's the flip side that most people miss: that indifference is your fuel. It's the fire that pushes you to work harder, to focus deeper, and to build the life you truly want, not the one others expect from you. Think about it. While everyone else is posting for likes, seeking validation, and adjusting their dreams based on other people's reactions, you've already learned to operate independently. You've had to. You've been forced to develop an internal compass because the external one was never really there for you. That's not a disadvantage. That's a superpower. I was talking to a successful entrepreneur last week, and she said something that stuck with me. The best thing that ever happened to my business was when I stopped caring about what my competitors were doing and started focusing on what I was building. She's right. When you're not constantly looking over your shoulder for approval or validation, you can move with a clarity and purpose that others can't match. What it really means to own your grind. So let's talk about what it really means to own your grind. This isn't just about working hard. Anybody can work hard. This is about working with intention, purpose, and an unshakable belief in yourself. 1. Take ownership of your life. You are the captain of your ship, the driver of your destiny. No one else is responsible for your success or your happiness. I learned this lesson the hard way when I was in my 20s. I was working a job I hated, living paycheck to paycheck and constantly complaining about my circumstances. I blamed my boss, my family background, the economy, the industry, everyone and everything except the person looking back at me in the mirror. One day, a mentor of mine said something that changed everything. You can either be a victim of your circumstances or the architect of your destiny, but you can't be both. That hit me like a ton of bricks. I realized I had been giving away my power, making my progress dependent on things completely outside my control. When you stop waiting for the world to care, you take back your power. 2. Focus is your superpower. Distractions are everywhere: doubts, negativity, the noise of other people's opinions. Social media alone is designed to scatter your attention and make you feel like you're falling behind. But when you accept that nobody cares, you realize that distractions only steal time you could be investing in yourself. Focus means cutting through the noise and zeroing in on what truly matters: your goals, your growth, your vision. I know someone who deleted all social media apps from her phone for 6 months while she was launching her podcast. She said it was the best decision she ever made. Without the constant comparison and distraction, she was able to focus entirely on creating content that truly mattered to her. Her podcast now has over 100,000 downloads per month. 3. Stop explaining, start executing. You don't need to justify your dreams to anyone. You don't need permission to go after what you want. How many times have you found yourself explaining your goals to people who don't share your vision? How many times have you watered down your dreams because someone else couldn't understand them? Stop explaining yourself and start executing. Success is made in the imperfect moments, through consistent action, even when no one is watching. 4th, discipline beats motivation every time. Here's something they don't teach you in school: motivation fades, discipline lasts. Motivation is like a sugar rush. It gives you a quick burst of energy, but it crashes just as fast. Discipline is like building muscle. It gets stronger with consistent practice, and it's there when you need it most. When you're the black sheep, you learn to show up for yourself, even on the days when it feels lonely or hard. You build habits that outlast emotion. You grind when no one is cheering you on, because you know your future is worth it. I wake up at 5 a.m. every day to work on my projects. Not because I'm motivated every morning. Trust me, I'm not. But because I've built the discipline to do what needs to be done, regardless of how I feel. 5. Build a mindset that outlasts the noise. The world is indifferent, but you don't have to be. You can choose to let that indifference crush you or use it as fuel to drive you forward. When you embrace the truth that nobody cares, you become your own biggest fan, your own motivator, your own source of encouragement. You develop what I call internal validation, the ability to recognize your progress and celebrate your wins without needing external confirmation. 6. Your success is your responsibility. This is the hard truth that nobody wants to hear. Hard work doesn't guarantee success, but without it, success is impossible. You have to be willing to work harder than anyone else because no one is going to hand you your dreams. The people who achieve extraordinary things do so because they were willing to grind through the days when no one was watching. But here's the beautiful part. When you take full responsibility for your success, you also take full credit for it. Every achievement becomes deeper, more meaningful, because you know exactly what it took to get there. 7. The work always works. When you commit to your grind, you stop waiting for luck or the perfect opportunity. You make your own opportunities. You show up, you put in the work, and you trust the process. The work always works if you're willing to do it. It might not work on your timeline, and it might not look exactly like you imagined, but consistent effort in the right direction always produces results. 8. Silence the noise. Trust your grind. The world is full of noise, gossip, drama, comparison, criticism. Social media amplifies this noise until it becomes deafening. But when you focus on you, that noise becomes background static. You build a protective shield around your dreams, and you move forward with confidence and purpose. The black sheep's grind. Here's what I want you to understand. The black sheep isn't the mistake. The black sheep is the messenger. When you own your grind, you show the world what's possible when you stop waiting for permission and start creating your own reality. You become living proof that success isn't about fitting in, it's about standing out for all the right reasons. Every black sheep who has ever achieved something meaningful has done so by embracing this truth. Nobody cares as much about your success as you do, and that's exactly why you have to care enough for everyone. Your grind isn't just about building a business or achieving a goal. Your grind is about building character, resilience, and an unshakable belief in yourself. It's about proving, first to yourself, then to the world, that you are capable of extraordinary things. Call to action and closing. So here's what I want you to do after this episode. First, I want you to identify one area of your life where you've been waiting for external validation or permission. Maybe it's a career move, a creative project, or a personal goal. Write it down. Second, I want you to take one action, just one, toward that goal this week. Not next month, not when you feel ready, but this week. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real. Third, I want you to remember this. Your success is your responsibility, but it's also your power. When you stop waiting for the world to care, you take control of your destiny. Nobody cares, and that's your superpower. So roll up your sleeves, get after it, make your life a testament to relentless effort and unshakable focus. Because at the end of the day, The only person who needs to believe in your dreams is you. And that's more than enough. If this resonates in your spirit, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a review, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X, Blue Sky, YouTube, Substack at LA Rain and Moy, and on Facebook and LinkedIn as Alice D. Clayton / Queen D / Empress Queen Day. Until next time, stay awesome.